You're just 19 years old. You came to the United States to chase this dream. What would it mean to you to be in the UFC?
I started training when I was 10 years old. I started do wrestling, and when I was 15 years old, UFC was very popular in my republic, in Dagestan, very popular. And first guy, Habib, he signed contract with UFC, and all Dagestan every day watch his training, all Dagestan watch his fight. And after this I had dreams, come to UFC, and I do all what I can. I start training 15, and I know if I want to be in UFC, I need to be in USA. And when I was 19, I come here and training here almost 4 years.
Congratulations, Muhammadjon. Excellent fight. Go enjoy your victory. Guys, back to you.
Thank you very much, Laura. So still undefeated is the young fighter from Dagestan, Muhammadjon Nurmagomedov, who gets the split decision victory, and he is now a perfect 6-0 decision time. We will find out in just moments.
Kicks, good question mark kicks. He likes to pressure forward, but definitely stays long, stays at his range. Pretty good hand combinations. In this fight, you should look to mix it up, stay long, and not box, because Paiva is a good boxer. In a couple of his losses, he did get walked down, outboxed, and lost. He also got knocked out one time in his career, but he's a strong wrestler and a grinder. When he gets fighters against the fence, Driscoll's good at staying, out of the guard, grapevining guys, legs, moving to the mount, controlling them. And on top, he's very deliberate. He's hard to get off of you. He isn't really super dangerous, but he has wrestling pace. He breaks guys, and then they allow him to pound him out or they submit. And he isn't a big threat with his jiu-jitsu. He only has 1 submission, but he does have 5 knockout victories. His cardio looks really good, and he won a 30-25 decision on 2 scorecards in his last fight, and so shows he can go all 3 rounds pretty effectively. And Dennis Piva trains with Rob Font and Calvin Cater. He's definitely a battle-hardened guy. He's a southpaw, good forward pressure, good jab, good right hook. He has a really nice straight left hand, very accurate, and he's at his best when he can walk fighters down, mix up the target, attack the body, go back up to the head. He'll throw some heavy kicks to the body, to the legs, and he looks pretty, hard, pretty durable, and hits hard himself. He doesn't really have great footwork though, and he isn't really that athletic. He's hittable, stands very heavy on his lead leg. He did get his body ate up with big kicks in his last fight. He ate some huge shots in the pocket against Tim Dueling as well, and really got a lot of damage put on his face. But Paiva, he has 6 wins by knockout. Isn't a bad wrestler, really, offensively or defensively. He looks for double leg shots, and on top, he really isn't dangerous, and he is susceptible to being submitted. I mean, he could shoot in sloppily and get caught in guillotines, front chokes. He has been submitted 4 times, and only has 2 submissions himself, and he is a good boxer, good cardio, good strength, good grit, good counters. And he's going to be undersized here, though. He's more suited for 135, in my opinion. And this is a fight where I have to favor Kyle Driscoll. I see him as the superior athlete, the bigger guy, more of an MMA fighter. Paiva, he'll occasionally throw some kicks. He has some decent wrestling, but really primarily a boxer. And I just think the long-range tools, the takedown threat of Driscoll is enough to get him the win here. I see him being able to maul, control Paiva against the fence. He's going to be the bigger man, like I said. I'm not sure he's going to be able to finish Paiva. Maybe Paiva can duck into a kick. He'll catch him with the knockout there. But for me, the pick is going to be Kyle Driscoll via decision. Up next here, we got a odd fight. I think it's the first featherweight women's fight in the history of the White Contender Series, but it's a weird matchup here. It's Danyelle Wolf taking on Taneisha Tennant, and Danyelle Wolf, she's going to be making her MMA debut and her pro debut in terms of any sport, I believe. I don't think she's been a pro in any sport. Her skills are obviously a question mark. She has done well in some key jiu-jitsu competitions. I believe she won the IBJJF White Belt Worlds, which isn't an easy feat, and she's trained in Thailand, but she's really known because she was on the Olympic women's boxing team from 2012 to 2016. She has a lot of amateur boxing fights and very experienced there. I mean, on her record, though, if you look, it says she's 27-14. According to her, she has a lot more fights, a lot more wins than that. But in those 27 wins, she has no knockouts. The girls she beats are mostly low-level girls with losing records. And she loses whenever she fights above an average competition level. She's 37 years old. But she's been training at Alliance at King's MMA in Thailand, like I said. Big girl, 6 feet tall. And in the limited footage that I did see of her, I mean, she looks long, athletic. She looks like she can obviously box a little bit. She has some decent power in her hands. I've seen her, hit the pads and look pretty good on the pads. She has good kicks. Obviously, she has a little bit of jiu-jitsu competition experience where she did well also. And I do believe she's a pretty good, well-rounded athlete overall. I listened to an interview that she did, and I mean, I don't know, it seemed a little bit delusional at times where, she was talking about how she thinks she's the Bo Jackson of women, but I mean, she's never been a pro in any sport from what I know, and it wasn't like she was like the best boxer in the world, and I don't know, man. I mean, she was saying she could fight Amanda Nunes right now, things like that. It seemed like some of the answers she was giving, in my opinion, were a little bit like she's maybe in this for, fame, maybe wanting to, get a little bit of recognition, money, notoriety, and she probably does think she's a good athlete and could string off a few wins here, but I don't know. Taking on Taneisha Tennant, if you count her amateur experience and her exhibition bouts from the Phoenix Rising tournament in Invicta last year, she's 8-0 in MMA. So that's a lot more experience. I will say, I mean, those Phoenix Rising fights are only one round, 2 of them, so it's only 2 rounds there, but she did get 2 wins. She fought 3 times in one night and won all 3 fights, so got to give her a lot of credit for that. She is going to be, I guess a little undersized. She fights at 135, but Wolf fought at 152 in boxing, so I don't think she's going to be, other than the height, I don't think she's going to be cutting so much weight, because they kind of have to stay on weight, so I don't think she's like much bigger than 152 probably. And Tennant, it looks like on the feet she's long, rangy herself, good kicks, good power, and decent grappling as well, good takedowns in the clinch. On top, she looks alright, and doesn't look like she's like a big jiu-jitsu threat or has a lot of submissions, but who knows against a girl like Danyelle Wolf. I mean, this fight is just, it's hard to call, man. I'm gonna have to go with Taneisha Tennant, though. I mean, it's weird. I mean, there has to be a reason why someone doesn't have, like, why would you have no professional fights in boxing, man, if you're that good? Like, you could potentially be a great boxer. I don't know why she's waited like so long, 37, to come to MMA. It's been 4 years since she has been on the boxing team, so I don't know, man. I'm gonna go with Tennant, but I mean, Danyelle Wolf may come out here and look like an animal. Who knows? But I'm gonna go with Taneisha Tennant. I've seen her beat some decent fighters, and I just think she'll get the win here. This next fight is a pretty good one. We got a 170-pound fight. We got Korey Kuppe taking on Michael Lombardo. And Korey Kuppe, he's 31. He's 8-3. He's coming out of Macomb Martial Arts in Michigan. His opponent, Michael Lombardo, he's making his second appearance on the Contender Series. 10-2, 30 years old. And he's coming out of a great camp. He's coming out of American Top Team. Korey Kuppe, he hasn't really beaten a lot of great names in MMA. He lost. His last 2 wins are not bad, though. He defeated Kenny Cross, who we've just seen recently on the Contender Series, get a win. And he defeated JP St. Louis, who's trains at Rufus Sport, decent fighter there in LFA in his last fight. And Kuppe does have a couple questionable losses, though, over fighters with pretty bad records. He's been finished by strikes 3 times, if you include his amateur fights. And he's a killer-be-killed fighter. He's only been to decision 1 time, in which he lost. And Michael Lombardo kind of is a similar guy. He hasn't beaten anyone of note. His best win probably was his last win. He got a unanimous decision win over Jose Caceres, who's 15-9. And Lombardo did lose a decision on the Dana White Contender Series to Kyle Dawkins, but it was a decent fight. They went back and forth. It was a good fight. And he arguably won the first round. He's a skilled fighter for sure, Lombardo. You know, he's a good athlete. He has decent striking, good grappling. Lombardo, he likes to come forward behind leg kicks, feints, throw these big power hooks over the top. Definitely packs power. His last fight was a similar style matchup to Korey Kuppe with Jose Caceres. Caceres is a long, rangy guy. Maybe not as good on the feet offensively as Kuppe, but better defensively in my opinion. Awkward and a good jiu-jitsu fighter as well. Lombardo was able to break him down, beat him down predominantly on the feet. And I definitely see him having the advantage on the feet here. It's just he has to be careful not to walk into something from the long, tricky karate fighter. And Lombardo likes to punch his way into body lock takedowns. Good control, grappling against the fence, and pretty strong wrestler, especially early in fights. On top, he has good ground and pound. Isn't really a submission threat, only has 2 in his career, but it does look like he has a good front headlock series. I've seen him snap down guys and attack, guillotines, anacondas, darces. And in his fight with Kyle Dawkins, it's just kind of the case of Lombardo was the better wrestler early, but Dawkins was the better grappler. Lombardo got the takedown, some control time, but didn't do much. Well, as when Dawkins had his moments, got his takedowns, he kind of dominated. Lombardo showed toughness, to last to the final bell, but he got mounted. He ate some big shots. He almost got submitted. But it was good to see the heart, no quit in him there. And he does slow down a bit in the third round of fights, but isn't like a huge guy, like huge gasser. Like he doesn't gas out super bad. And he's finished 6 wins, 4-2 decisions. But all of one of his finishes were in the first round, so definitely is the most dangerous in round 1. And for Korey Kuppe, Korey Kuppe is an interesting prospect because he's huge for the division. He's 6'5", probably be the tallest 70-pounder, I believe, in the UFC. And he's a former karate kickboxing champion, good jiu-jitsu skills. With all those striking accolades in MMA, though, Kuppe is more of a grappler. I mean, on the feet, Kuppe is long. He has good pull counters, good elbows, good kicks. He'll throw some nice head kicks, front leg side kicks, axe kicks, question mark kicks, just round kicks, regular to the head. And he definitely is dangerous because of his length, his skill. He can catch guys coming in. And, the issue is, though, he holds his hands completely down. He's known for sport karate, where there's not really a lot of head strikes, and you can kind of see that in his style. In boxing range, he really struggles and is just kind of vulnerable on the feet. In his fight with the 3-6 fighter against Marcus Maldine, he got flying knee, brutally knocked out in that one, and just he isn't the most athletic guy, so his movement isn't the fastest. Fighters can get inside on him, and a lot of his fights end up in grappling matches. He likes to stay long time body locks. He's good at using his length in the clinch to throw big knees, elbows. He gets heavy on the neck, snap guys down, and he has a good guillotine. He's hittable in the clinch himself, though. I've seen him dropped in the clinch with elbows, and his takedown defense is not good, but he's active off his back. He'll throw up triangles, arm bars. Obviously, his guillotine is dangerous. His guard is hard to pass, and he will throw some nice elbows. He got another triangle choke finish in his last fight, and Kuppe does struggle to get up off his back, though, Kuppe, and he can be controlled. And, Kuppe, when he can get on top, he is dangerous and aggressive. He'll throw hard ground and pound elbows, big knees to the body, always looking to snatch up the neck, and all of his wins are via submission. But I have to take Michael Lombardo in this fight. I just think he's better on the feet here. Definitely more durable, defensively sound. Kuppe is going to look to land one shot, grapple, and I'm just not sure he's going to be able to out-grapple Lombardo, take him down. Lombardo's a tough, gritty guy with plus skills everywhere. It's possible Kuppe catches an armbar or a triangle off his back, but Lombardo's at ATT, showed good submission defense against Kyle Dawkins. And, Kuppe's going to be looking to get that finish, but I'm going to probably go with Lombardo via decision or TKO here. And in the co-main event here, we had Naimov taking on Colin Anglin. And Naimov, he's coming out of Tajikistan. I think he's going to be the first Tajikistani prospect fighting in, any type of the UFC banner. I know it's not the UFC, but, it's part of their promotion a little bit. And he's fought in Las Vegas, but he's now fighting out of Elevation Fight Team and looked very good in his last fight. And he's going to be taking on Colin, Anglin, a fighter coming out of Michigan who has actually gone to Factory X himself. He actually moved there with Cody Brundage, who recently fought on the Contender Series, actually lost, but they went there, started training at Factory X full-time. So both these guys have recently made the move to good camps and are training, taking their careers more seriously. Naimov, he's undefeated, 5-0, 4 finishes, and he's been competing in Titan FC primarily, coming off a win over a 4-1 opponent. And he hasn't fought the best competition, but he has fought 3 fighters in a row with winning records. Colin Anglin, 7-1. He's on a 6-fight winning streak, and his one loss was at 155, so he's undefeated at this weight class. And he's defeated 2 fighters with winning records, but his last 2 fights were against low-level competition, 1-1 and 1-2. And Anglin has went to Factory X, like I said, so I do expect some improvements here. He's a wrestler, he's a good athlete, and kind of rounded out his striking. He likes to stay pretty on the feet, though, stay on the outside, hands down, look to counter. He has good movement, he cuts good angles, isn't a stationary target, likes to stick and move. He has a nice calf kick, throws some nice body kicks, high kicks. He has a really nice counter left and right hook, good counter 1-2. And when he gets fighted against the cage, he is dangerous with the hooks, the uppercuts. He's good at fighting moving backwards. And he will also, sometimes just explode in with some nice combinations. Strong wrestler as well. Good takedowns in the clinch. Nice double leg. On top, he's more of a grinder. And, he's good at doing what his opponent is weak at. If they can't strike, he'll strike. If they can't wrestle, he'll wrestle. Good fight IQ. He's won his last 4 fights by knockout as well, so he's confident. 5 knockouts in his career. 2-1 in decisions. And, for Naimov, he looked much better, in my opinion, after his first training camp with Elevation Fight Team. He's super explosive, dangerous, especially in the first round. Throws brutal low calf kicks, and he's just kind of a technical brawler. He did a much better job in his last fight, of staying composed, feinting a lot, not opening up so wild. In his fight with Shane Brown, he was very wild. He got clipped, dropped, almost finished, but showed a lot of toughness to survive that. And in his last fight, though, he's much more composed, fought behind feints, the jab, chopped the legs, used effective pressure, cut the cage off. And, he's just good. He has a nasty spinning back kick to the body, to the head. There's a lot of spinning back fists. I have seen him get drawn into the wars and go crazy. Not really conserve his energy well. And his one fight that went to decision was a split. I do feel like he'll kind of maybe gas out in the later rounds, but if he fights like he did in his last fight, where he's more composed, he's chopping the leg, he's cutting him off, I feel like he could do well. Naimov doesn't have a lot of grappling in his fights, but looks like he can wrestle pretty good. And in his fight with Shane Brown, he got dropped, almost submitted, but reversed, got on top of Shane, and submitted him with the rear naked choke, so that was impressive. And I gotta go with Muhammad here. As long as he stays long, composed, I see him being the guy controlling the octagon. Anglin likes to fight on the back foot. I see him walking Anglin down, not really giving him a lot of opportunities to counterpunch, chopping the legs, making it hard for Anglin to move and angle as the fight goes on, and then making it ugly. Landing some boxing combos, brawling a little bit, landing some spinning kicks. I imagine Anglin is going to try to wrestle, but I just think Muhammad will be a little too gritty, a little too tough, be able to defend, scramble back up. So I'm going to go with Muhammad by 2nd or 3rd round finish here. And then in the main event here, we got Gregory Rodrigues taking on Jordan Williams. And man, this is a good fight. Jordan Williams, he's returning to the Contender Series for the 3rd time. And it seems like that's been the charm for guys coming on the Contender Series for the 3rd time. They seem to get the win. But Williams, he hasn't gotten a win on the Contender Series yet. Even though in his first fight in the Contender Series, he did win the fight. But I believe it got changed to a no contest because he filled for marijuana or weed or something. So it really was a win. And then his last fight, this guy just can't catch a break, man. He was a big underdog against a Russian from Dagestan. Won the fight, in my opinion, pretty clearly. Pretty bad decision by the judges. Split decision win for his opponent. He lost again. And Dana White even said after the fight that if they would have gave him the decision, he probably would have gotten the contract. So, I mean, that sucks for him. I don't know why Dana wouldn't have just given him the contract then, but Williams hasn't fought since then, and he's gotten two fights canceled earlier this year. It'll be a little over a year since he's fought. In his previous fight in the Contender Series, you know, it was a pretty back and forth fight, but he showed toughness and kind of gritted it out in the third round. His opponent, Gregory Rodrigues, 7-2, and I like this guy Rodrigues, man. He's been unbeaten in over 5 years. Hasn't been very active, but you know, he's fought some solid competition in the USA and Brazil, and he's a fucking beast. I mean, he's called the RoboCop. He's a bit stiff on the feet, but he hits hard. He'll aggressively close the distance with power punches, heavy kicks, really heavy body kick, nice low kicks, but just uses his striking and close the distance. He reminds me a lot of Rodolfo Vieira, man. I mean, his jiu-jitsu is sick. I mean, black belt, elite ground game. He is hittable. I've seen him rocked and dropped. He has been finished by strikes one time, but I've also seen him, you know, get dropped, recover quickly, get into zombie mode, hurt his opponent, and finish him. So he's dangerous when he gets hurt, and he's a dog. He's super intense. When he gets a hold of a guy in the clinch, he'll get those double underhooks and just freaking smash him to the mat, man. He has a good single, good double. Extremely, extremely strong for the division. He's a huge guy for the division. Like, when you see his back and just, he's super muscled up. He's going to be way bigger than Jordan Williams, who's expressed interest in dropping to 170. And on top, Gregory is a monster, man. Super heavy top control, passes very well. He has a crushy top game, kind of similar to Jacare, to Rodolfo Vieira, like I said. He likes to get the side control, get the crucifix, good Kimuras, sick mount, great back take, really nice ground and pound. He has great arm bars for mount. He has 6 finishes and 7 wins, 5 submissions, 1 knockout. And Jordan Williams, I mean, he's a good fighter himself, but he's another guy that likes to grapple, likes to wrestle. And on the feet, you know, he's okay. I mean, he has big power in his hands. So Gregory has to be careful, you know, closing the distance, not to catch a hook coming in, not to catch one of these straights. But Jordan Williams likes to fight in close quarters, fight on the inside, you know, throw these hooks where Gregory is going to be able to clinch up with them. And I just feel like the strength advantage for Gregory is going to be massive. And Williams isn't like an elite striker. He's not technical. He's kind of a brawler himself. He doesn't like move and cut angles well. He stays right in front of you. He kind of engages in the fight. And I just think this is a good matchup for Gregory, man. I think Gregory is going to be able to get inside. I think Williams will crash the distance for him, and they'll meet in the middle. And Gregory's going to get a hold of him, be way bigger, way stronger. And I think when he gets on top, man, I mean, you don't want this guy on top of you, man. He's going to smash this dude, I think. So I got to go with Gregory Rodrigues here. I think that he's going to look very impressive and get a contract. So Gregory is going to be my pick on that one. So there you have it, guys. Thanks for watching. And like always, I'm going to be doing the breakdown on Odds HQ with the full betting perspective, what the odds come out. Currently, there's no lines, so can't even tell you anything if I wanted to. So make sure to check out that video. We'll be dropping probably late tonight, early tomorrow. So make sure to support over there. Thanks for watching for sure over here as well. And I'll talk to you guys later.